Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be on a couple different platforms, but I usually upload my videos to YouTube first. This is my awakening series, and what I like to do is offer a safe, comfortable space for our healers and practitioners along the Gulf Coast to start to tell their stories and how they got where they are with their awakening journey. And so tonight I have with me Miss Nathalie Cordero, and she is a dear friend of mine. We have recently had some really cool experiences together, and I was guided by Great Spirit to offer her to come and do an interview and tell her story. And she has a class coming up. She is a yoga instructor. She teaches at Treehouse Yoga and Prestige Fitness over in the past. And then she is also a level 2 Reiki master healer. I can't remember how that goes.
I think there's one more master class. I haven't taken that one. Reiki.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
Sounds good. So yeah, I just wanted to invite you here, Nathalie, to tell us your story. Tell me a little bit about how you got here.
Thank you so much. So I am originally from Los Angeles, California. I've been there pretty much until I think I was like around 27. Around that time, around 27, I moved to Chicago. I was in a relationship with someone, and it led me to go to Chicago. It did not work out. It was a very mentally draining, mentally abusive relationship. And at that time, I had my 2 dogs, and I'm all like, I can't take them back to Los Angeles because my mom, she used to be scared of dogs, but she loves them. She loves mine now. And during that time, I was watching a TV show that I would just go to because I was in a very depressive state where all I would do was just sit. And I needed something comforting, so I was just rewatching a show called Heart of Dixie, which is based out in Mobile, Alabama. And there's a special character. Her name's Annabeth, AB. And I just happened to cruise past the episode where she's all like, I'm getting a divorce from Jake, and I'm going to move to the city and go to school and get me an apartment in Mobile. And I'm all like, I'm going to do the same. I had never been to this house.
Yep. I love this story so much.
Yeah. Like that's literally how it was. Like I had thought about like either staying in Chicago because that's where I had some friends, even though my family is not from there. In my years of staying there, I made a lot of great friends that to this day I keep in touch with. But I didn't nothing felt right. I thought, well, maybe I will rent a tiny apartment out in the desert in California because it's a little bit cheaper because LA is super expensive. Maybe Texas, where I had a friend, and I'm all like, for some reason, going to a place that I saw on TV where I knew absolutely no one felt like the best decision to go to.
Yeah.
So within a few months, I packed up everything. I packed up my Jeep, got a small U-Haul that I was carrying back, and my brother helped me move here. So to back up a little bit, I right before I signed my lease for my apartment in Ocean Springs, I flew down here to look at the apartments at least. It was funny because I had just gotten an email from airlines saying that my points were going to expire. And I'm all like, well, this is perfect. So I flew into New Orleans because that's where Spirit at the time had the nearest one. And I printed out like probably over 50 apartment things from like apartment.com or rent.com, like one of those websites. And I'm like, okay, I selected all the pet friendly ones because I have 2 Huskies. And I flew down there and just started driving. I didn't look at any apartments in New Orleans, but I drove to Mobile first. Rented a car, washed into Mobile. And I'm like, okay, well, this is where it's going to be at. And then on my way to Mobile, I think I passed by Pascagoula first because I really liked an apartment in what I thought was Pascagoula. So I'm like, well, maybe there, maybe Mobile. But what I did is I didn't realize that I got Pascagoula and Pensacola confused. So when I drove what is actually Pascagoula in Mississippi, I didn't like any, so I threw all of those out, not realizing that I also threw away the one that I liked, which was in Pensacola.
Oh my goodness.
Not realizing that they're in two completely different states. But so I found one that I really liked in Mobile, but I had an extra day, so I was driving back to New Orleans, and I stopped in Biloxi. I stayed at the White House for a day. And I'm like, well, let me just explore the city. It doesn't hurt, even though I'm gonna go to Mobile, stay in Mobile. And that's when I started walking down, I guess, downtown Ocean Springs, on Government Street. Back then, I think there was like a taco, like an upstairs taco bar place that I had some food. And then that's when I found your store, the store Wildfire. And I went in there and I'm like, oh, this is such a cool little store. And you were talking to me. I didn't realize this was you until you came, I think until like one of the classes I took with you, but you were telling me how there's beach yoga, how everyone's super nice and like a small community down here. And I felt so comfortable. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll just visit. But in my head, I'm still going to go to Mobile. And that's the story that I tell most people, why I chose Ocean Springs instead of Mobile. There's a little bit of a deeper one. Yeah. And that is, after I finished that, I went back to the White House and I just went to the hotel bar just to have a drink. And there was two other women next in there. And we kind of ended up talking. And that was, I guess you can say, what really made me change my mind is that particular thing, which was the person next to me on my right. She was a therapist and she was there with her daughter. Her daughter wanted to see some concert. And the person next to me on my left was going through the exact same thing that I was, which was we were both in a relationship with, and it's something that I don't tell a lot of people, but it's good to know. And we were both in a relationship with someone that had very severe PTSD. From the military. And there's a lot of people, and she experienced the same thing that a lot of people would criticize us because we thought of leaving.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do? Do you, at what point do you say enough is enough? We know they need help. We know that all of our veterans, bless them for everything that they do, but we can't put ourselves in that abuse as well. And not all of them are like that, but we were both in a very similar situation where we were in a relationship where we were being not physically abused, but like there was a lot of mental abuse, a lot of very negative things. And then our partners would default to, well, you can't leave me. I am a disabled veteran.
Right.
And the veterans and anything I can do is very near and dear to my heart. And I try as much as I can to spend any like mental health awareness, especially with them. But ultimately, we both knew we had to leave. And the fact that I just happened to be sitting next to a person in almost the exact same situation, I was like, okay, I'm moving here.
Yeah.
It was like, this is where it's going to be. And I wish I would have kept in touch with her. We even exchanged numbers, and I think she said she wanted to move. She was living there, but she just needed to get out of her house, and she wanted to move to, I think, North Carolina. So I'm just hoping and sending all the vibes that she her dream place, because I know I did. But yeah, that is how I ended up here in the Gulf Coast. All that.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for Amanda to actually hear this story, because her vision for Wildfire is for people, it's about people finding themselves and finding a place in the world. And so for Wildfire to have been so pivotal in your decision, I just can't wait for Amanda to hear that. She's going to love that.
Yeah. Yep. That it was you and that vibe. And then what kind of sealed it was seeing someone right next to me at the exact same bar, same hotel, going through a very similar situation where we want to help. We know that there is an issue with mental health in a lot of people, especially with men, and a stigma. But at the same time, we have to look at ourselves as well. And that's something that I try to advocate a lot for, is mental health.
Definitely, definitely. And it's really needed here because we do have a large veteran
Mhm.
community here with the Air Force Base. And
Yep.
so things that we offer are very beneficial to the
Yep.
veteran population,
Mhm.
you know? Well, so let me ask you some questions.
Yeah.
You go through your awakening once you moved? Because it sounds like you were following your heart the whole way.
My awakening is one of those things where like I'm a very skeptical person. But now looking back at my life before, I didn't realize that I had that. I had it with me all along. I
Hmm.
just never realized it. And which is great. I didn't, so I had my, I don't want to say my intuition, my things the whole time. I always had them with me, even since I was younger, but I never realized it
Yeah.
until I got here. And even a few years after, it's me coming into all of these is fairly new, a few years, maybe 2 years, where like I almost had like a wake up moment type of thing and realized that I've had this my whole life. Now I
Mhm.
can dive into it and accept it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I kind of find that it's either one or the other with people like us. Either
Mhm.
you there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
We spiraled for a second.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
I'm used to that. I'm glitching
Okay.
out technology these days.
Nice.
So, well, tell me a little bit about how you got into the yoga.
So I don't know when it was, but it was on I was still in California and I did one single yoga class on my yearly trip that I take by myself to Ventura County, right on the beach. I
Oh,
probably started going there
cool.
since I was 20. I would lie to my mom and tell her I'm going with my friends because she hates me traveling alone. I'm like, yeah,
Mm,
all my friends are going. I would just go by myself. I would do the same thing, stay at the same hotel. And I tried a yoga class and it was great, but I couldn't tell you one single position we did. I just know that at the end we all owned at the same time and it was great, but I never thought of it for a while. And then move fast forward till around again, this was around I don't know, 2010. Like it wasn't it was about 10 years ago or so. It was a while. And then
right.
around 2017, around 2020, when I was in Chicago, I just needed to get out of that environment that I was in. So I just started after work, I would just go to a place. They had a yoga studio a few miles down the road from where I lived. And I'm like, I'm just going to go. At that time, it was just for exercise and also to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Um, and I liked it. It was mostly for exercise. I'd go once a week. It was a small studio, loved the teacher, but her practice was more physical, like stretching, and it was great. So it was a very good introduction. There wasn't a lot of the spiritual side. Um, so when I moved here, that was one thing that I was looking for is a yoga studio near me. And one of the very first studios I actually just happened to follow on Facebook was Treehouse Yoga, but I never went there. It was just one of those, oh, okay, maybe I'll check it out one day. Once I got my apartment in Ocean Springs, it was pretty close to Government Street. I think it's near Upper Elementary, one of the elementary schools. I used to ride my bike to the nearest one, which was downtown yoga in Ocean Springs. And I loved
Yeah.
it. I fell in love with it. The very first class, I arrived in Ocean Springs from my apartment with my brother probably like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And he left. And the day he left, because he was with me for about 2 days, I started bawling my eyes out. I was like, what did I just do? Did I just really move to a place where I don't know one single person? And I was like, I remember being under the bed with my dog because my dog likes to be under the bed and just like, it's just
Oh,
us.
Nathalie. Oh.
It's just us, Bo. Like, oh God, what did I do? And then I'm like, okay, well, let me do something. Let me get out. I looked up the nearest yoga studio and it was downtown yoga. I drove there and I wish I remember her name. I think her name was Rhea or Renee. It started with an R.
Renee. I think there's a Renee. Yep. Renee.
This was around 2022 in June, July. That's when I moved here. And the very first thing she said was, "You're exactly where you need to be at the exact same time you need to be." I started kind of tearing a little bit because that is what I needed to hear. And that was my first sign, my first time listening to signs where like, wait, I think there's something to these signs thing. Cause I was never one to look at, oh, do you see a sign? Is there a sign? To me, that didn't exist in my head.
Right.
And I was like, wow, I think this is what people say is a sign. And yeah, that was me. And I just started going every week. And then the one that really got me into it, her name was Melody Butler. She moved, unfortunately, but she just made it so comfortable. And everyone there did, every teacher that I met there. But because of my schedule at work, I would just happen to always go to Melody's class there and at the Y. And she was slowly starting, like she introduced the chakras. She had a workshop for one chakra, and I think it was the solar plex chakra. And I've heard of the word chakra when people were like making fun of it, but I never knew what it was. Right. And I went to the workshop because again, at that time, this was a couple years after I moved, I was going through a really tough time and I just needed something. And it was just very small things that were like randomly people that I would meet would just slowly get me into. And I wanted to learn more and more. So that is how I ended up with yoga. It was physical. And then I saw my body get so much better. I saw my lower back pain go away. I saw me getting more flexible, getting in better shape. And that is how I was like, okay, I know this. I need yoga. And then the main reason why I got into wanting to teach yoga was because what Melody did for me was if I can just get one person, what she gave to me, my life goal is set. That just starts. Yeah, that is, even if it's just one person.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Mm-hmm. So then when did you start with your Reiki training?
So the first time I ever heard the word Reiki was right before I moved. So early 2022. One of my best friends, this was still in Chicago, had a party. She loved hosting, and she happened to hire a tarot card reader, psychic. And at that time, not that I didn't believe, but I didn't mess with it. And I'm all like, whatever, it's not true. But I like to respect everyone. So I went downstairs. It was in her basement, and I did it. And I'm all like, she probably told her to tell me not to move. So, and I was ready for that. And I'm all like, so she's like, what questions do you have? And I'm like, well, I'm about to move to a place that I don't know. I really don't know like what's going on. I'm kind of at a crossroads. I don't know what to do. And she said, okay, well, I think Mississippi is great. She told me that my spirit animal is a wolf, which I've always been told that. And those are my dogs. I have wolf dogs. They're huskies. They look like wolves.
You do?
Yeah. You've met them. We've seen them. I know you actually I don't think you met them. You saw Grits. Yes. But you saw pictures. Yeah, Grits, he's doing great. One thing, because I've always wondered, I don't want to say struggled, but I never, like in high school, people are like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. I want to do this. I want to do that. I never knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I just knew that I did my 2 years in community college because I didn't want to get into like any student debt, but I never knew what I wanted to do. So that was always my question. I'm like, well, what's a career thing? And she's like, you're going to be a wonderful master Reiki. And I didn't ask what that was because I was just taking everything in. She was telling me other things. And then when the thing was over, I looked up what Reiki was. and this is coming from someone that deeply believes in Reiki. When I first read what Reiki was, I honestly thought it was the most dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. What do you mean you're paying money for people to just wave your hands? Like, no, that is so dumb. And I never thought of it again.
Yep.
And then, seriously, like wave your hands. No, never thought of it again until one day, I ended up at the sanctuary by accident. I was looking for Joanne's, and I missed my turn going to Joanne's.
Oh my goodness!
By the sanctuary, and it looked super cool. So I looked like, oh, well, what is that? Is that another yoga studio? Because I had just moved to Biloxi.
It's like very welcoming and like
yes, it just attracts you. And it was like, did this studio like looking back? I'm like, did Tiffany make me miss my turn on purpose? Thank you.
Thank you.
So I looked into it, and it was yoga. I'm like, okay, great. There's a closer yoga studio. Awesome. And I'm like, what's this sound healing that I've never heard of? And when I went to my very first time that I went to, when I was going through a very, very hard time in my life, nothing necessarily was different, but mentally, I was living by myself. I had just bought my house. I had gone through a breakup, and honestly, it felt like I just couldn't do life anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I no harm to myself or anything. I just, when people say I can't even, that's literally how I felt. Any small decision felt like the biggest hurdle. Like I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And when I finished that sound, like I had so much anxiety that I couldn't even, I had to force myself, because I didn't want to be rude, to stay during that sound bath, because I couldn't even enjoy it. It's like the vibrations could not even enter my body. So I made it through, and then I saw the word Reiki again. And I'm all like, hey, I've heard that before. And I asked her, like, hey, what is it? She kind of explained it to me, and I'm all like, I don't know what else to do. I was going to therapy, I'm doing yoga, I'm exercising, I'm talking to, like, I didn't know what else to do, and why I felt so much anxiety. And again, like, I didn't want to do life anymore. And I'm all like, I'll do it. So she sat me down. I went into my, I think it was like a week later. That's when she was available. She laid me down in her studio, and I just laid there. And when she told me, you're going to feel a little dizzy. You might feel a little dizzy when you're done. I got up. And I definitely felt dizzy, and then like it kind of wore off, and I got home, and I remember my sink was broken, and the plumber came in and he told me, well, it's going to be $300. And I didn't have that. And I'm all like, okay, you know what? Don't worry about it. Like, she was like, yeah, you need to replace the putty. And I'm all like, you know what? I'll get back to you, because I didn't have it. And before, if I had, like, the thing that led me to not wanting to do life anymore was, I remember an exterminator coming in, like, that exterminator didn't work out. And the thought of calling one more exterminator, I couldn't do it anymore. I don't know why. And I know it sounds so silly. I just couldn't. Me calling someone else, and it was termite season. So it was like, it was almost 2 years ago. It was around the storming. So it was very close to it. I couldn't do it. So, a couple weeks later, I just had Reiki done like 20 minutes before, and I'm in a similar thing where I have to call someone else. And it was like, okay, sure. And then I called a few other people, and they're like, well, it's going to be 200. And I'm like, this sounds like a lot. Like, I'm not a plumber, and but I feel like putty is like Play-Doh. Why am I being charged so much for Play-Doh? That's literally my thought process at this time. So I just went on YouTube and looked it up myself. It was like, for $20. I paid $20, and I looked up a 5-minute video on YouTube, and I fixed my sink myself, because my brain was no longer in that fight or flight mode. It was like, and I realized that's what it was. And I'm all like, what just like it? I didn't realize it, because I was just like, let me fix my sink. And then when I finished it, I was like, what did I just do? Like, I know I fixed my sink. It's like, my brain didn't do that thing where I no longer wanted to exist anymore. And then I realized, why did I feel so low just having to make another phone call to, another? And
Yeah.
it was just, and then I started looking more into Reiki. It's like they were literally describing what I was going through. I know one person, they call it, it's your tiger brain. Your mind is so, you feel like you're being chased by a tiger when in reality it's because you misplaced your phone or because you did
Yes.
something. It's like you need to reset from your parasympathetic nervous system to your sympathetic nervous system. And I'm all like, that's literally what happened. And I am the biggest skeptic, and I am practicing Reiki. And some people, I'm like, I understand it. This isn't going to make sense to you. I can't scientifically tell you exactly what it's working. I just know that as one of the biggest skeptics, one of the people that thought it was the most dumbest thing I've ever heard of, I am dedicating my life to that because it's just, it literally described how I felt. Just a phone call that some people, like I work, my other job is I work from home. I do hundreds of phone calls, all the time, but just doing one more. And it's like, now I see my life about almost 2 years after that. I'm living in the same house. I'm making nothing monetarily has changed since I discovered Reiki, but I'm so much more happier. My anxiety is just, I still have anxiety, don't get me wrong, but it's almost like nothing. Like to me, that is what normal is supposed to feel like.
Yeah. It's like now we can feel normal.
Yes.
Like
And
this
it's
is
like,
normal.
yeah, like a couple months ago, my roof started leaking. And I know the old me would have been bawling my eyes out thinking, and it's like, okay, calm down. Literally,
like
it is completely
throw yourself on the ground.
Yes, like, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to have to move it. Like, and that was me all the time. My mind would always, and I remember since I was younger, my mind, because of how I grew up, would always go to the worst scenario so I can prepare for it.
Right.
The absolute worst. And that was, to me, that was like a survival mechanism, is I had to always be in survival mode.
Yeah.
And I don't have to anymore, but I was like that for over 30 years. It's kind of hard to snap out of it. And Reiki just, I don't know. It
like
just,
a light switch.
It literally is like a light switch.
Like a light switch.
I don't have to be in survival mode anymore. It's me and my dogs. And it was a $10 repair because a seal broke on the roof. The roof is fine. I went up on the roof, I sprayed it, it's fixed it. It survived all these rains that's been going on the last, it's completely fine. And it is amazing. Getting so out of survival mode. Yeah.
It's so huge. And it's like, how many people in the world are living in survival and they're at that saturation point? They cannot take on another singular bad news at all. One little drop of bad news is going to send them, and people are living this way. I was living that way.
Yep. And I remember being not upset, but feeling some sort of negativity because I didn't have an escape. I knew close friends, like a neighbor, she would gamble. Another one would drink. I don't care much for the taste of alcohol, and it costs money to drink. And also, I can't go to a casino because that costs money too, and I live by myself, and I have 2 hungry dogs to feed. And it's weird because I wished I had that, and I didn't. And I was like, yeah, like when I was in survival mode, I'm all like, wow, I don't have an escape. I don't like to go to the casinos because I used to work in one. I don't like to drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. Like, this sucks. I have no distraction, but not, I mean, I know it sounds horrible, but like, I didn't have.
Your body was just taking it on. There was no pressure release valve anywhere.
No, there was not. That's a perfect way to say it. There was no release. It just kept on going and going. And I know it affected some of the relationships that I had. Like once I moved here, I can see how I contributed, how being in that survival mode contributed to it not working out and everything like that. And it's just yoga and Reiki, and then just everything that I've learned down here in the Gulf Coast has been, like I said, my life hasn't changed much from, the year or two ago to where I no longer wanted to exist. Like I actually had to, like, again, I didn't think of doing any harm to myself, but I had to call someone. Like I had to call a helpline because I did not want to exist anymore. That's the best way I can say it. Again, no harm to myself. I just didn't want life anymore.
I get it.
I'm living in the same house. I'm, everything's exactly the same, but mentally, everything is so different.
Wow.
And I just want to
give that to everybody.
I want to give that to everyone. Like when my dear friend Sam, and I know I talked to you about Sam, he was staying at the Veterans Hospital 2 minutes from me. I saw that they're teaching the chakras to veterans. And I'm all like, that would be my dream job. Like, you don't even have to pay me to do that. But the fact that they're giving it to something like that.
Yeah.
Even if you just were like, I will write the script and I don't even have like any way that I can contribute to that. The fact that they're teaching the chakras to our veterans and seeing that means that it's getting out there, that this isn't just, hippie stuff. This is real. This can genuinely help. You just need to let it. You just need to let it.
I love that they're doing that though.
Mm-hmm.
I love that so much.
Love it. So much.
Well, so tell me about, now you had mentioned that you had not spoken to your dad and like tell me how that
is so my parents were together until I was around 15. Growing up, my childhood was pretty violent and I saw a lot of violence. But growing up, we were pretty well off. So the violence was always indoors, and outdoors we had to be this like picture perfect family.
Yeah.
And then when my parents divorced, my mom really tried, and she never said anything negative about my father, but his actions were very horrible. And finally, my mom was all like, I know you're trying, but I think one time my dad, when my mom finally stopped trying to get us to be, kind of be okay with each other, was when I guess my mom, they were divorced and she started seeing someone, and he found out they were living in 2 completely different states. And he's all like, well, I heard your mom's dating someone, so he's your dad now, not me. And I'm all like, I wanted to say hi to dad, mom, but dad said he's not my dad. And we're like, okay, I apologize. You don't have to speak to him anymore. Aww. So we went about, like I said, probably over 20 years without speaking. I had him blocked on my phone, but my brother lived with him. And my mom and me would always go visit my brother in Oregon. And I would be very cordial. I would never be rude, but it was just hi, and that's it. No conversation. And then about a year ago, it was my brother's graduation from barber school. And he would try to make conversation. And I was very short because I wanted to, and his thing was, if you don't come with me for the divorce, you're not going to see one single dime of child support. And I'm like, okay, I don't need you.
Yeah.
My mom worked several jobs just, because he never contributed to anything. And I didn't want to give him the satisfaction that I needed him for anything.
Right.
So, but I was never rude. And then, so we were in Oregon about a year ago or so. My brother graduated and he was like, well, do you need anything for your house? I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you. And then my mom took me to the side and she said, you need to, she's like, I'm sorry that I couldn't get you what you needed when you were a kid. Because again, he never paid anything for child support, never asked if we were okay or anything. And he's all like, but your dad's offering you to help you. You need to take advantage of that. And she's like, I would really like for you to maybe get closer to your dad. Maybe he changed. But the least he could do is help his own daughter. I don't want you struggling anymore. You don't have to. And I'm all like, okay, fine, mother. So I go there like, Dad, I need help. And he's like, okay, well, what do you need help with? And I'm all like, the floors. I have my house is pretty old. It's, and I think it's like the original hardwood floor. So I'm just like, okay. So like, well, why don't I go over and I can help you do some repairs? And I'm all like, sure. And then I'm all like, look what you did, Mom. Now Dad's coming over.
Coming down.
Yeah. And my mom was the buffer. even though she endured all of the violence, again, she never said anything negative, but my thought was, if my mom has not done anything to him, she's going to be the first one to throw the first stone. And if she
Right.
hasn't done it, then I can't. So, and again, she is a saint for, dealing with all that and not having any animosity or negativity towards him. So I'm like, if my mom can do it, then I can. And we've, again, this was about a year ago, and he's slowly been texting me like, hey, do you need help with anything? And I was like, I think I said something about the dogs escaping, because I have huskies, and if you know them, they escape from everywhere. He's like, well, here are some like grates that you can put against your fence. So small things like that. And my mom was all like, if you need something and you don't know, just ask your dad for advice, because he's very good with things. That way you don't have to spend money to hire like a handyman. He can show you how to do it. And I'm pretty sure you're pretty crafty. You can do it yourself. Okay. So that's kind of how it started. And next thing I know, he's coming on Sunday. So we've been, so far I have noticed a small change in his demeanor, how he was. Because before it was like, if you don't do exactly as I tell you, then I'm just not going to do anything.
Right.
You are completely wrong. And when he's giving me advice about things in the house, I'm like, well, to be honest, I think I'm going to go with this. He's like, okay, I understand, and then he'll suggest something with my view. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not worried about, any more violence or anything like that. I don't think he was never violent, like, with children, just adults. And again, he's my dad. But it's just, I don't know. It's weird.
Energetically, I think you have changed so much energetically that you're just like you're receiving him in a whole new way. Energetically.
And right now what I'm feeling is I love being a great like hosts. Like if people are coming to my house, I want to make sure that they're fed, that they have their toiletries and things like that. But at the same time, every once in a while I get a hint of this is my dad, someone that I didn't talk to because he had such a negative effect. He was such a violent person. He was such a very bad person. And I get little like hints of like, what am I doing? Like, why am I going out of my way? But at the same time, even my mom says, give him a chance. He's your father, and it would make me happy if you and your father had a relationship. And he's all like, if anything, you are his daughter, and you deserve to have to not be spending your money on random things when he can help you because he is your father.
Definitely.
Okay, Mom. So
and just healing that father wound is going to open so many more, like all of your gifts are going to even evolve even more from healing the father wounds. For me,
so good. Yeah, it's something that I'm not against. I get flashbacks, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, okay, you're super cool. I'm like, wait. Like, I know one thing that he used to do before is the one time he helped, and this is something that I told my mom recently, is he paid a phone bill one time. He paid a cell phone bill. My parents divorced at 15, and again, he never paid for anything except for one cell phone bill, and he threw that in my face all the time.
Right.
I'm like, Dad, you remember that? Well, I paid your cell phone bill. Like, Dad, my mom has to work 2 jobs while you're driving all of your luxury cars, but I paid your cell phone bill. And it's like, I keep on, like, that is my one fear, is that he's going to help me with something. And then down the road, he's like, well, I helped you install, I hope you paint your bathroom. So now you have to do this. And I don't think he's going to do that anymore. I want to believe that people can change.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I can change, then I at least, I don't want to use the word owe it to him, but I at least owe it to a person to give them that opportunity to show me that they changed.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Native American traditions, they say that when we heal ourselves, we're healing 7 generations backwards and 7 generations forward. So, you know, you are changing and making all these healing decisions for yourself.
Mhm.
I feel that it's applying. I can see it in my life and in my
Okay.
family
Mhm.
where like I would do healing, childhood healing, and it would apply to my brother too.
Oh,
He
okay.
would and he would have no idea that I had done like an inner child session
Mhm.
on myself, and he would
Mhm.
call, I had this like moment of clarity about that time that blah 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 happened. And
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, like it's applying in other locations that I was not really prepared for.
Yeah, I would love that. If my family can heal, I'm more than happy to be the one to do that healing for myself and pass it on to them.
Yeah,
I would love that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like we have taken the call, girl. We have taken the
Yep.
call.
Yeah,
We're
but
healing
I
the whole bloodline.
yeah, but I am excited for him to come. He's really into food, and he's all like, I want to try all of this Southern food, and I'm all like, what is Southern food to you? And he said like, oh, I want. He kept on referring to the movie My Cousin Vinny
Oh,
and
that's
grits.
funny.
He's all like, do you know how to make grits? I'm like, I know how to make grits, Dad. I was taught. I was taught how to make grits and biscuits. I've been here long enough, so we're doing grits. He wants hush puppies, and I'm all like,
And
well,
some
where do I get
cornbread.
like, well, where can I get good catfish? And I'm like, oh, the gas station. Like, what do you mean the gas station? I'm like, yeah, Faird's.
Yes. You
Yeah,
better
we're gonna get
you better
catfish
get
at Faird's.
catfish
Yeah,
regards. Taking the
yeah,
quality seafood.
exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. He's gonna try gator. And then I think I've mentioned like I'm trying to wing off or just be a little bit more conscious like when I'm eating meat. So meatless Mondays we're
Yeah.
doing. So he's having tofu tacos, and we'll see if he
I
notices them.
I've had those tacos, and I have to tell you, I was very impressed. Very, very, very impressed. I would like to try them again.
Oh yeah.
So, well, let me ask you this. So I hear you're having a workshop.
I am. I am having that workshop on the 20th.
The 20th.
Yes, at 1 p.m. at Treehouse Yoga.
Okay.
Um, it is going to be what I'm hoping is the first of 7. It's on the chakras, but this one is specifically going to be for the root.
Okay.
So it's 2 hours. It is going to be the first hour or so. It's going to be just me doing a brief like introduction on what the chakras are, and then focusing on the root. So
Love it.
how you tell if it's overactive, if it's spinning too slow, what's balanced, what we can do, what we can do to help that, how to tell if other people have unbalanced root chakras, just kind of things to look out for. And then I'm hoping that I can bring a drink for everyone. So the drink I'm going to bring for the root, because it's hot, it's going to be an iced tea with hibiscus because it's red, honey, and then I'm probably going to throw in some dandelion just because of the root. So root. So
Yes.
that is what I'll be bringing. And then the remaining time will be all levels flow for the root. So a lot of grounding postures, focusing on empowering, and so a lot of standing, just kind of breathing in and some breathing techniques just to feel more rooted. So that is what I'm hoping. And this is also going to be my first workshop, so I'm so excited.
I am so excited for you. Where can people go to sign up for that?
They can go to Treehouse Yoga.
Okay.
They're on the very first page. They have a thing where it says live schedule, and if you just click on live schedule, just scroll all the way to the 20th. They
Okay.
can sign up for it there. And so the root's the first one, and then every month there's going to be a following one. So the following one will be the sacral chakra, and you don't have to go to all of them. Like if you're not sure, like if you miss one, don't feel like you have to go to all of them, although that'd be great. But if you miss one, it's not going to change anything. You can still learn a lot from each chakra. Or if you feel maybe you just want to explore one, It's open to all.
Perfect.
Great. Yeah.
All learning levels.
All learning levels. And again, like if you miss one, don't feel like you can't go to the next one. Well,
Okay.
I will always start off the class with like a brief introduction so everyone knows about them, and then do a deep dive into the specific chakra for that month.
Awesome. Okay. Nathalie, this has been so much fun.
Thank you so much.
With me.
Thank you.
You know, when I went through my awakening, I didn't know anyone locally. I went through this whole thing by myself, and I didn't know that what I was experiencing even could be remedied with yoga. I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that I could go there and that would help what was happening. That's how, like, that's how full my nervous system was. That's how much in fight or flight I was. I had no idea what was happening to me. So, for us to be able to just have conversations like this is so special to me, because I know that there has to be people out there that are also now going through their awakening and they don't know where to go. They don't know what's happening and they don't have the tools or the resources. And so that's why I feel like this is really important for us to have these conversations.
Yeah, you know? It was and again, I came from not knowing one single person here. And then just throughout this whole conversation, realizing that I came into this place full of wonderful people. Like you, like, you know, every single person that I've met since here has led to my awakening, to me realizing all the gifts that I have. And I feel so blessed. And I know everyone says, I don't feel blessed. Like, I feel so grateful, so blessed to have this community here. Like you, like, you know, everyone at the sanctuary, at River Rock, at Treehouse, you know, everywhere, every studio that I stepped in, every person that I've met has been like, even when I went through yoga teacher training, everyone that I met there has helped me and contributed to my awakening, to me realizing how grateful I am and pretty much how awesome, and I know this sounds selfish, but how awesome I am.
Yes.
Because of everyone else that's awesome. Like, I went from thinking that, like, you know, my life, not that it's boring, but it's like, my life is sucky, to like, no, my life is pretty awesome. Like, you know, yeah, I have to work hard and that's completely fine, but I am in the best place, surrounded by amazing people that have made this spiritual journey freaking amazing.
Yes, indeed. You are. You have got a wonderful support system. You are part of a wonderful support system.
Yeah. And that makes I'm part of it. And that's what I said, like, and that's why I started wanting to teach yoga, is if I can just help one person, whether it's through Reiki, through yoga, through just get out of that fight or fight, just in any way, then I did what I came here to do.
I absolutely wholeheartedly agree, my love.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, I am just so honored that you did this with me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I will be linking all of Nathalie's pages and the places that she teaches her workshops and her yoga classes at. That'll all be linked in here, and you guys can reach out to her if you have any questions. And have a great night, everybody. Bye, Nathalie, hold on for me, babe.
Okay.
Okay. In recording.